In this session, you will learn how to leverage your Amazon sponsored brand ads and how to outsmart your competition using specific strategies. Our guest today will be Liran Hirschkorn from Incremental Digital Agency. And this session is part of the SellerFest Online Virtual Summit, which is gathered over 20 Amazon experts. And this particular session is sponsored by a few companies. The first one is Getida. They are FBA audit and reimbursements company. They help you to claim money back from Amazon, which Amazon owes you as an Amazon seller. The next company is Z. They are service provider for customs compliance and logistics. So if you want to expand your e-commerce business globally, they are one-stop shop for you. The links to all these companies I'm mentioning, you will find below in the description. And the next company sponsoring this session is Helium 10. They are all-in-one suite for Amazon and Walmart sellers. And the next is Unibrands. It's a AFBA acquire. They actually acquire not only Amazon, but also Shopify direct-to-consumer brands. So if you want to exit your e-commerce business, you might want to talk to them. And finally, last but not least, Perpetua is a e-commerce advertising optimization and intelligence software for e-commerce sellers. So they have solutions for Amazon, for Walmart, and a few other marketplaces. The links to all the sponsors you will find below, so check them out if you are looking for services which I have just mentioned. And also, when you see below this video, you will find the like and subscribe buttons. Don't forget to click those. And this session I'm hosting together with Lisette Lees. She works with different Amazon brands and participates in Orange Click videos. Hello, Lisette.
Hi, Augustus, and hi to everybody else as well. I guess you are very excited to have Liran here with us. Liran will adjust his camera.
He's floating. He's like magician. Ooh.
So hi, Liran. We're so excited to have you here today. I know people are already waiting forward to hear what you have to share. But before that, could you please first introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. I've been involved in the Amazon e-commerce space since 2014, both as a seller and in the last few years really helping brands scale their business on Amazon using Amazon advertising. This is what I've been living and breathing for the last 7 years. And I live in New York with my family. Just had a baby boy last month. So keeping busy. And in March, I attended 2 conferences in Las Vegas. I just came back this week from an event called Shop Talk, which was interesting, as well as Prosper earlier in the month.
So before we go to your presentation, I actually wanted to ask, can you shortly summarize what are the things you will share with us today?
Yep. So I'm going to talk very specifically about sponsored brand ads. I'm actually going to focus mostly on 2 out of the 3 types of sponsored brand ads that exist, which is the product collection and the store spotlight ads. There are also video ads. A lot of what I will talk about, you can apply to video ads as well, but I'm going to be talking about strategies on how to maximize the benefit of sponsored brand ads on Amazon.
Okay, sounds good to me. So we have your presentation also ready to share with our viewers. So let's go ahead and see what you have to share with us.
Okay, great. So as you can see, the title is Advanced Sponsored Brand Ad Strategies to Scale Your Brand and Beat the Competition. So as I mentioned, there are mainly 3 types of sponsored brand ads that you can run. Product collection, where you can send traffic to a landing page or storefront. Store spotlight, that forces traffic to go to your brand store, including the sub pages. And then there's the video ad, which features a single product with an auto playing video. Video ads recently have had a link that also goes to the brand store. So the brand store is getting more and more important. But I'll be focusing again on product collection and store spotlight for this presentation. So let's talk a little bit about the sponsored brand product collection ad and some of the components of the ad. On the left-hand side, you have the your brand logo. The brand name is there with the link to shop, which this is going to send you again either to a landing page or to the store. You have your headline copy. In this case, it's muscle massage gun for athletes. You have your featured products, which are the 3 products you have on top here. You can have more products show up in the landing page or on the store page that it goes to. And then you have here a custom image that you can have. So we'll talk about, these are kind of the components that make up sponsored brand ads. You can see there are many different variables that you can change up here, from the image to the featured products to the headline copy. And so because there's a lot of variables, a lot of different strategies you can use to really go more granular and more targeted with your strategy. Okay, a little bit about kind of where sponsored brand fits in terms of your overall strategy. Our kind of general thesis philosophy is that about 70% of your advertising spend should be, or probably likely is, going to sponsored products, because those are the native regular ads that just get a lot more clicks, more placements, more visibility. And then about 20% of your spend should go towards sponsored brands, including headline, including video, and about 5 to 10% into sponsored display. So we're going to be talking about this, 20% part of the pie here. But again, a very important part of the pie. Okay, so this is the sponsored brands product collection page where you'd be setting up your ad. Through the product collection, as you see on top, you can choose to either send your traffic to your storefront, either your homepage or a specific subpage or page on your store, or you can send your traffic to a landing page. And then you have the other elements that are part of the ad, including your headline copy, the products that you're going to choose to be featured, to be in the top 3. Although you can have more than that on the landing page, your headline copy, and your custom image, which highly recommend that everybody be using a custom image. We'll also talk a little bit later about some of the messaging guidelines related to the headline, and some of the strategies in terms of setting up these ads. Okay, and also some of the things to watch out for when you are setting up these types of ads. The store spotlight ad, a little bit different. So I really like this ad type. Generally, my feeling is that this is an underutilized type of ad. The reason I really like this ad type is that it forces the traffic to go to the storefront. There is no other ad on Amazon that forces traffic to go to the storefront. So unlike the previous ad, maybe that I showed here, when somebody clicks on any one of these product images here, they're going directly to the listing. If they click on this shop to loco, and this ad is set up to go to the storefront, then the person will go to the storefront. But most of the time, people are seeing the reviews. They're seeing the product image. They're going to click and go to the listing. If you are looking to drive traffic to your storefront, there's a lot of reasons why you would want to drive traffic to your storefront based on the keyword somebody is searching or your strategy. Then the store spotlight is the only place on Amazon that you can force traffic to go to the store. So when somebody sees this ad, there's anything they click will send them to the store. Okay, so in this case, this is the store spotlight ad. Again, we'll talk about some use cases of when you would want to use this kind of ad versus the regular kind of product landing page or store spot or landing page or store ad with the featured products versus this type of ad. Okay, very similar in terms of the setup, except here, instead of putting featured products in these three areas, you're actually putting your different pages. And then you can also highlight a specific image from for each page in terms of what image you want to feature there, and give it a display name. Okay, so very similar setup, except here you're driving traffic to those sub pages in your store. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the placements for sponsored brands. So we have top of page placements, like you see here on top. On the left hand side here, you're seeing the mobile version of an ad that has the custom image. On the right hand side, you're seeing the desktop version of an ad. And then we also have them on product detail pages, and at the bottom of the search results. And these are the other placements. For example, this brands related to this category is something you might see on a product detail page. Something like this, brands related to your search, you might see on the bottom of search results. The one that obviously gets the most amount of clicks and traffic is going to be the top of page sponsored brand placement. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how to make an effective headline ads and some of the things that we look at. So one, you want to go as granular as possible on the keyword targeting. Meaning the more specific you could be with the keywords, along with the copy that you're putting in the ad, along with the image and the custom image that you're showing that's related to both the keywords and the copy, the more effective your headline ads are going to be. And then utilizing featured products, the right featured products, the right subpages, the right landing pages, and being very strategic with where you're sending the traffic based on the keywords and the goal of the campaign. So the more specific you could be, the more segmented you could be, the better, which means that you really need to have multiple sponsored brand campaigns for your if you have a few products, each one of those products should have really a very specific strategy with multiple sponsored brand campaigns. You really shouldn't just throw in, all your keywords in one campaign, with one set of copy with one custom image. And also you should definitely be testing. So even if you thought, only one thing makes sense here based on like a limited set of keywords, you should be testing, different copy, different custom image. Okay. So what do we mean when we say granular keyword targeting? What we mean is really grouping similar keywords together. I'll show you an example of that. And again, that's based on the use case of the product, based on the color, based on the intent, what the person is looking for, as well as segmenting based on search volume, conversion rate, click-through rate. So some examples of different groups of products. If I'm selling, let's say, a men's silver chain necklace, right? So in my first group, I might have keywords that are silver chain necklace, and similar keywords. In my next set, I might have more specific silver chain for men's silver chain. Okay. My third group, I might have specifically targeting towards women, silver chain for women. And then in my fourth, I might have very, very targeted exactly what the product is, silver Cuban link chain. Okay. Silver Cuban link chain for men. So I'm really segmenting based on similar groups of keyword, because then I can align my image, my copy, and my keywords all with sort of one focus, which is going to end up getting me a better click-through rate, and more alignment between what the person is searching for and what I'm showing them. Okay, so some examples. I'll show in the next slide here some examples, but make sure you're using custom image. We see at least a 20% increase in the click-through rate when you're using a custom image, all it takes is hitting a checkbox in your sponsored brand ads, making sure you have the right sizing, and using a lifestyle type image. Make sure that custom image aligns with targeted keywords. You want to have like the product in use, make it a lifestyle image. Sometimes showing your entire product line could be interesting because people get a chance to see not just the product they're looking for, but what else you offer. And again, you want to A/B test different custom images to see what works the best. So here's some examples of different ads that are very targeted, and that are connecting. The ad is very much connected to the keyword. So the first one here, we see silver chain men, and we see an ad by Mia Bella, Italian sterling silver chains, but they feature a man, right, in the ad. And then you see that when somebody searches for silver chain for women, they're featuring a woman in the custom image, right? So they clearly are segmenting and not just putting, silver chain in kind of one campaign and showing men's and women's. They're clearly segmenting. Probably in their silver chain for men campaign, they're negating the word women, girlfriend, right? Probably words related to a product that would be for women. And they're probably doing the same thing in this campaign, and they're making sure that they have very segmented type of ads. They're also interesting. Here they're using some different colors that potentially can make it pop a little bit. So always good to kind of see what are things going to look like, and how can I get an ad more attention, but certainly using very targeted. I clearly see this as a silver chain for women. Clearly see this as a silver chain for men in the ad. We see this on the right hand side here. We see Lego Star Wars. When I search that, I'm seeing Lego Star Wars products, right? So I'm seeing the headline copy mention Lego Star Wars. I'm seeing an image that's related to Star Wars and Lego sets related to Star Wars. And then the bottom here, when I search for red candles, celebrate love, related to the color red. And I'm only seeing red candles, which is exactly what I searched for. And again, a nice custom image with making the product look better in this environment around celebrating love. So some good examples of how to utilize custom image and align it with your keywords. Okay, so what are some ways you can come up with your headline copy? So what we do is we take the keyword root that we're trying to make sure that's in the advertising, along with what customers love or care about your product. So how are we getting that data? So a great way to see what customers love or care about in terms of your product is by analyzing the reviews. It doesn't have to be, if you don't have a lot of reviews, or if it's a new product, you don't have to analyze your reviews. You can analyze your competitors' reviews with a similar product and see what people like about it. Okay, so multiple areas where you can get this information. There's some products have by feature and how much people what are the features that people really like about the product. And then we use the Helium 10 extension, X-ray extension, and use the review analyzer to pull up basically all the reviews and do an analysis of what are the most commonly used words in people's reviews. So in this case, we see they use battery life, this massage gun, easy to use, highly recommend, works great, pain relief, right, sore muscles. So we know kind of what people are writing in the reviews, and the number one thing that they seem to like about the product is the battery life or the long battery life of the product. So we have this product here that's the Bob and Brad Q2 mini massage gun, and then we have the number one thing that seems like people like about the product. So we take that and we analyze it. So we take mini massage gun. We want to understand if that is in fact a highly searched keyword. So we put in mini massage gun, which is kind of like what the product is. And we see, okay, mini massage gun mini massage gun deep tissue. But the number one most searched keyword is mini massage gun. So we take mini massage gun, we take battery life, and a little bit of a feature of the product, and we come up with our copy, which is mini massage gun with up to 10 hours of battery life. So we know people care about this, and we know we want to align the keyword that they're looking for with the headline copy. Okay, a little bit of notes about headline copy. I mentioned earlier we would talk about, which is you cannot mention any specific pricing promotions in your copy, like say 50% or $20 off, but you are allowed to use savings on a product, or save now, or great prices, or buy this product, get an additional free product, or bundles. So you are allowed to use, words like this, like save now. Let's say if you have a coupon on a product, or if you're running, let's say a 7-day deal, you can update your copy, but cannot mention specifically kind of what the discount is. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about featured products, subpages, and landing page. So featured products are your 3 products on top. Subpages is your store page that you're going to send traffic to, or landing page. And in order to understand what to kind of put in each one of these areas, you first need to define the category of keywords that we are targeting. Okay, so let's take this example. And here we have 5 different categories of keywords that you could be targeting within your advertising. Okay, so the product here is a milestone blanket for babies, and some examples. So branded keywords. This is our brand. So let's say our brand is Luca and Lily. So keywords example here would be Luca and Lily milestone blanket. We have category keywords, which are generic keywords related to our product, or more specific to our product. So baby milestone blanket for boy. We have general keywords, which are baby shower gift. So it's not specific to, this particular product, but it's a more general type of keyword that somebody could still end up buying and looking for this product, like a baby shower gift. We have complementary keywords. So somebody, they might be getting baby milestone cards or something related to milestone blanket, but that's not specifically this item. It's a complementary product. And then we have competitor branded keywords. So a competitor that's getting traffic, modern child milestone blanket. So each one of these, you really should be segmenting out a separate sponsored brand campaign. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about branded keywords. We can break down branded keywords into 2 categories: branded general phrases and branded specific phrases. Okay, so for example, and again, depending obviously on how much branded traffic you have and branded search volume you have, but let's take Lego for example. We put Lego into brand analytics, and we start to see what people are searching for. So Lego is the number 1 keyword. It's kind of a generic phrase, right? We don't know exactly what somebody's searching for when they're looking for Lego, other than they're looking for a product from the Lego brand, but we don't know kind of specifically what they want. Versus Lego Star Wars, right? They're looking specifically for Star Wars Lego products. So that's a specific search. Lego sets, Lego Technic, more specific. Lego Star Wars specific. Lego Friends, I would say more kind of in between, right? A little bit more specific. Architecture, more specific. You start to get kind of into more specific, longer tail keywords here. So you have branded general phrases and branded specific phrases where we know a little bit more of what the customer is looking for. So again, we want to separate these out. So I would be, downloading this, downloading these keywords and segmenting them, and then setting up specific campaigns based on the search. And it seems like Lego is doing this, at least to some extent, because when we searched Lego Star Wars, we saw a very specific ad with Star Wars products from Lego. Okay, so branded general phrases like Lego, actually Lego here is not using a store spotlight ad. we would use a store spotlight ad here, for example, because in this case, when somebody's searching for Lego, Lego is sort of making an assumption about which products they want, right? The three products that are featured here are probably, maybe they're popular, but we don't know. The person could be looking for Lego Friends. They could be looking for Star Wars. They could be looking for architecture. They could be just looking for ideas, right? We don't know what they're looking for. And in this case, Lego is using a custom image, and it looks like just a product collection ad with three featured products. But really, in this case, they should be using the store spotlight because this is a very general phrase. Okay, so you can use brand analytics in this case to define which subpages we would send traffic to. So when somebody's searching Lego, we don't know what they want, but what we do know is, if we go back here, that the number one, the most popular search is Star Wars. Then we have Lego Technic, right? Then we have Lego Friends. So we might feature, Lego Star Wars, Lego, Technic subpage, and Lego Friends subpage, right? Or Lego for adults, Lego architecture. We're generally seeing what people are looking for, and based on that, we would try to, put in subpages here that we think would give people different options. You could also send people, they have a bestsellers page, they have a new release page. So lots of different options on where you can send people. But here we would want to send a person to the storefront, because in the storefront, they can see basically the entire selection for what Lego offers. We don't know what they want, and they can browse the store like a website. And when we show them these three products, we're kind of, putting them in only showing them a very narrow amount of options. There is a Shop Lego Store here link, so they could go to that, but again, much less visible than this. And we want to send this very generic kind of traffic to the store. So in this case, we'd be using a store spotlight ad. Okay, so here are some of the branded general phrases, right? That that we see when somebody's searching for Lego. The general phrase ad, and then we're trying to identify what are some of the most common pages or types of products that people are looking for. So, for example, Star Wars, Technic, architecture are very popular. That may all be on, so we might want to do Star Wars, science and technology, and art, just based on, okay, here are some of the most popular pages, and then set up this ad that goes to these three pages for a store spotlight ad. Okay. Other strategies that you can implement. You can also, as mentioned, you can send people to a new products page, bestsellers page, and an all products subpage, right? So you can also implement that as a strategy instead of those other pages. And then this is something you can also test. The most popular pages people are searching for versus maybe sending people to bestsellers, new products, and all products. Okay. Then we have branded specific phrases, which we want to segment based on keyword groups. We want to target all match types. We can use here the store spotlight or product collection, whichever one will make sense. And then we can also show related products. We want to show the related products or the related subpage shown first, right? So what does that mean? It means if somebody's searching for Lego Star Wars and we're sending them to a store spotlight ad, we can show them, we would want to show them the Lego Star Wars page first. And then maybe we want to show them, bestsellers or new products or something else, but we want to show them that main thing that they're looking for first, so it resonates with the search. And same thing with the feature products, right? We might show them, 2 Star Wars products, and then maybe we'll show them something else, complementary type of product. Okay, so let's look at some strategies around branded specific phrases. Okay, so in this case, somebody's searching for Pet Honesty dog vitamins, and this ad on top here has, the 10-in-1 dog vitamins products. What we would do a little bit differently than what's up here is they're showing here 3 different variations of the listing. So basically, it's all going to one listing with dog vitamins in 3 different flavors. We would make sure to show the sort of featured product in the custom image here the same way they do. Image number, which is, which what they're doing is good, right? It's showing this relationship between dog and and their best friend, right? And it's good kind of lifestyle image. The first ad we would show the vitamin product, but here we would show complementary, right, or other product. We wouldn't sort of waste this space all really showing the same, the same products. Okay, we would maybe highlight maybe a new product launch that they have, and maybe there's a lot of searches for Pet Honesty dog vitamins, and here are opportunities to showcase some new products that don't get as much branded search volume. Okay, so featuring your new products, it's an opportunity. Featuring complementary products, one of the things you could do is also use brand analytics and look at the market basket analysis. Market basket analysis shows you which products people are buying along with your product. So we can look at the 10-in-1 dog vitamins and see what's the most popular other product people are buying with that, and we can feature that type of product in the ad. And making sure that we have those, complementary products either on the landing page or in the store subpage. And again, if we're using Store Spotlight, we want to feature the vitamin page as kind of the main page, and then complementary or related kind of products as the other subpages, or again, maybe bestsellers, etc. Okay, so this is the market basket analysis in brand analytics, and this shows you, your ASIN, the product title, the purchased ASIN, and then the number one purchased ASIN along with that product, right? So we can get an idea of what are the most common products people are buying together. Very often, this is your own products. If you have a catalog, or especially if you have variations, it's going to be your own products. Or if it's a competitor and you have a similar product, you can include that product in your ad. Okay, let's talk about category keywords. So these are, sort of just non-branded related keywords to your products. You want to segment based on the keywords related to each other, as well as search volume. We use all the match types here. We use one campaign for each match type. You want to test Store Spotlight and Product Collection. We typically see better results here with Product Collections because people can see the price, they can see the reviews, and they can see the product that kind of just resonates with them and click and go to it. But for more, popular brands, like Lego, for example, Store Spotlight may work better. So kind of depends, but for the most part, general category keywords, I would say Product Collection more likely for most of us that are watching here to perform better. So here's an example of a category keyword. We have dog allergy chews. We have the product. Actually, this isn't the actual allergy chews. I think this is a different product here, but they really should have the allergy product here in the ad. And again, what they're doing here is they're featuring variations of the product. Again, I think that's a little bit of wasted space, right? So allergy product really should be here and featured in the image here. And then here you can have a new product. Here you can have a complementary product. So they can really be doing better with the space that is here. Also, the headline copy that they have here is naturally reduce anxiety, stress, and hyperactivity. So you can kind of see that the ad that they're showing here they're not really segmenting the keywords the right way, because they are probably targeting like dog chews in some way and showing the calming product, but really allergy should be segmented, and then your copy here should be, no more dog allergies, right? Or something again related with the keyword and what people really like about the product, and featuring that in the ad. So you can see here how a lot of brands are not getting it right in terms of utilizing and segmenting ads, partly because it has to be really set up right, meaning this ad particularly for the calming hemp product should have words like allergy, negated from it or not being targeted. And the allergy ad should be very specific with allergy related products, which this brand has. Okay, so some strategies with category keywords, feature your best selling products, and then again next to it, and the most related product, and then next to it feature other products from the same category or complementary products using brand analytics, and then the landing page should show that main product first that the person's looking for, as well as some other complementary products or bestsellers. Okay. Another type of ad is for your general keywords. So we kind of said before, you have the milestone blanket, and then you could have somebody searching for a baby gift, right? So it's a more general keyword, probably gonna have a higher cost in order to acquire a customer here. And again, you want to segment based on groups and search volume, and be more specific. Okay, so as an example, here's somebody searching for a TV mount, and then they have different subpages: full motion TV mount, tilt TV wall mount, low profile TV. So they could be featuring those three as subpages to send the traffic to, especially because there's a lot of different sizes and pricing options here based on what the person needs. And so a store spotlight ad for this keyword would be good, since they have these pages separated out and all different types of TV wall mounts for this particular one here. They're showing sort of three different ones, based on different sizes. But again, they have a bigger selection. They could be sending this traffic to the store. Okay. So again, you can showcase different products here that are related. You can use brand analytics to understand for that particular keyword what are the products that are converting the most, and use that data to identify which products you're going to feature in your ad. Okay, so as an example, when we search, TV wall mount, we see that this particular product, the one that's 13 to 42 inches, is the one that gets the highest click share and conversion share, right? So if we have a similar product, maybe that's similar size, price product, we might want to feature as the first product in our ad, or the first subpage in our ad for this full motion mount 13 to 42 inches, because we see that this is the product that's getting the highest click share on the page. Okay. We also have complementary keywords. Complementary keywords are going to have generally a higher ACoS, because again, the person is not looking exactly for your product. They're looking for something else, and we're going to show them a complementary product. So usually it's going to have a higher ACoS. So you want to test these and probably start off with a more limited budget. And again, segment based on keywords group, and use the product collection. So here's an example. We have somebody searching for dog vitamins for seniors. And then we have Cosequin that is featuring, sort of complementary products, right? Now they are putting in the ad, it's joint health for dogs, right? So they're putting it straight there that this is not vitamins, which is good, because when you're doing complementary, you want to make it very clear that you're offering something different. And they're offering, complementary products, joint supplement, MSM, and another joint supplement in another form here. But again, this is not going to convert as well, because the person is not looking for this, right? So you're trying to sort of move them into discovering your brand and showing complementary product. But again, not going to convert as well as showing vitamins here. So like they're doing, the headline copy should clearly define the product as complementary. You could show some of your best-selling products, and any products that are complementary to what the person searched for in the featured products and in the landing page. We also have another ad type you can run, which is competitor branded keywords. Again, this is going to have a high cost as well, because somebody, if I'm selling my private label coffee brand and somebody's looking for Starbucks coffee, it's going to, most people are looking and going to buy Starbucks coffee. So I'm trying to pull that person away from that brand and buy with my brand. So chances are it's going to have a higher higher ACOS with this strategy. But again, you want to use brand analytics, identify what people are really looking for, and feature the closest, best-selling type of product you have to that. And again, if you have a product, if your competitor brand has 100 reviews and you have 2,000, right? I would feature that product with 2,000 reviews. That can give you, an advantage in terms of pulling that person away. But again, they're looking for the competitor brand. So, chances are it's going to have a high cost to grab them away. There are cases on Amazon where, people are searching for brands that are not on Amazon. That could be a good use case. If you have a similar product and that brand is not on Amazon and they're a well-known brand, and somebody's searching for that, you can sort of grab that traffic away and maybe have a better chance to convert because that brand is not on Amazon at all. So when you're looking at the competitors, understanding what people are buying when they're searching the competitor. So in this case, Toloco, somebody searching for Toloco massage gun, this is the #1 clicked and conversion product, right? 70% of the click share, 76% of the conversions. So we want to understand this product. What is the price point? What does it come with? If I have a similar product, maybe I have a better price or more reviews. Maybe I could try to pull that person away from this, but I want to understand what they're buying, right? For example, if somebody was searching this and was buying a mini massage gun and I had that product, I would want to feature that against their competitor brand name and not this particular product. So it's really important to understand what people are buying and to utilize brand analytics. Some final notes. The more granular you go, the better. Really need to spend time analyzing the keywords. Make sure that out-of-stock products that you're using in your featured products, that you're watching that and you have a way to keep track of that, because what's going to happen is if you have an out-of-stock product, now instead of showing 3 featured products, it'll show 2, so you can replace and show a different product if you have something out of stock. If you're not watching it and you have 2 products out of stock, only one will show there. You want to A/B test custom images and headline copy. You want to check the placement report. So I'll show you that here as well, and make necessary changes if needed based on the placement report. And now headline copy, headline ads are showing if you have a coupon on the product in the headline ad. So having coupons is another way to get a better click-through rate. So this is an example of what happens if you have out-of-stock products. The ad just doesn't look as good. Again, you could replace it here, and again, you're less likely to get clicks through when you're showing one product than more. So you want to make sure you watch for those out of stock. And then there's a placement report that's going to show you. So this is an example where top of search has a 40% ACOS, but other placements like on the bottom of the page or otherwise has 105% ACOS. So what you can do is you can go into your campaign settings and you can do a bid adjustment for placements below top of search. For example, here you can do decrease by 30% for placements not on top of search, or decrease by 100%, right? You can say, I don't really want to get any of that traffic. Okay, so you can control increase or decrease of the placement for other than top of search. Make sure you're using the custom image. They look really good. And that's it. You can find us at incrementumdigital.com, and you can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, social media, if you want to talk with us about advertising management for your brand.
Okay, thank you so much for your presentation. It was really exciting to hear you. So I will take your slideshow away as well. So before we start with the questions, Augustus, could we please introduce the VIP video Liran produced as well?
Yes, actually, I wanted first to ask people to type in questions in the chat related to the presentation. So if you have questions, type in. I see a few came already. And during this Seller Fest Online, this video is part of this event, we not only live streamed 20 plus Amazon expert sessions, presentations, but we also recorded additional sessions with each of the expert, and all these sessions we put into VIP package. And Liran also recorded a VIP session with us. And Liran, could you give us an overview of what you shared in that video?
Yeah, so in this video, I kind of covered how we're utilizing working with influencers to drive external traffic. I talk about some of the tools we used on how to find, work with, negotiate, implement, and some of our case studies and results on working with influencers to drive external traffic into Amazon.
Yeah, perfect. And Liran's video is packaged together with other 20 sessions with all the speakers of SellerFest Online, and it's additional videos which are not included in the free pass. And all these sessions have different blueprints, templates to download, checklists, different walkthrough step-by-step explanations. And you will find the link below for the VP package if you would like to upgrade. And on this page, you will also find description of each session, what you will be learning there. So yeah, that was the VP package. And now I think we're good to go to the questions and answers section.
Perfect. So let me take some of the first questions. So the very first one comes from Kim. And the question is, do you start the effective headline ad with your brand name or with the best target keyword?
Yeah, I would say focus on the keyword and the feature or the benefit that people really like about the product. Again, whether it's yours or you look at a competitor if you have a new product, but I don't think you need to include the brand name unless you're a well-known brand.
Okay, very good. So let's take another one also from Kim. So your best way of research to identify the main root keywords.
Yeah, so I mean, brand analytics. What I shared using brand analytics, one of the best ways. Also, using Helium 10 Cerebro, looking at the top competitors, putting them in and seeing what are the keywords that have the highest search volume that most or all the top 10 are ranking for, would give you an idea of the relevance and the search volume to identify that main keyword.
Okay, right. Very good.
Maz would like to know, do you launch products with only PPC or use external traffic as well?
Generally, we're launching with just PPC. We do run external traffic. We do run Google and influencer marketing, but I would say you can launch products with just PPC.
All right. Joe Blow wants to know, do you have a specific order you recommend for making changes to ads? In other words, which is the most important to start with?
I would need you to be more specific when you say making changes to ads, but if you're talking about the creative, but generally I would say the keyword strategy and the campaign structure are most important.
We have a few more, Lisette?
Yeah, we do have. So I can take the next one from Ken. Ken is asking, is it worth doing this type of ads for seasonal products?
Yeah, I mean, definitely during your season or leading up to your season. Like, for example, we're starting into April, starting, May, probably summer products will start selling well, or maybe some have already started. Would be a great time to run, to run these ads. So yeah, definitely worth doing these ads for any product that can sell.
Okay, very good. So regarding you mentioned about filtering keywords and segmenting them as well. So what's the best way, or is there any tool to use to kind of filter them in a way as you described in your presentation?
Yeah, I mean, using Helium 10 and Cerebro, we also use Data Dive, are all great ways to filter segment keywords. Again, downloading from Brand Analytics into Excel. And then filtering and segmenting there, is probably the easiest way to do it.
Okay, very good. And do you also have any tips for building a user-friendly storefront page that will help customers quickly make the purchase decision when they are driving traffic to their stores?
Yeah, so I think in your storefront you want to make sure that on the page you have blocks on top that do show the product, the price, and the reviews, especially if you have a good amount of reviews. And then, and then lifestyle images, video on storefront, can work really well. So if you video for the product, you could feature the video there, as well. And again, making sure that your subpages are segmented based on, what the person is looking for. And, if you have a bigger catalog, you don't want to include, you don't want to have just one page or 1 or 2 pages with all your products. You really want to segment it. So for example, if you're selling supplements, you might have 4 or 5 different supplements for sleep or focus or, mood, right? So you're going to segment based on what people are looking for. Sometimes, if I'm selling sheets, right, I might have by size, right? Twin, full, queen, king, right? I'm going to make it easy for the person to find what they're looking for. So think about, similar to a website, how can you make it the easiest for people to, to find your product and give them the data or information there to make a buying decision, which again, including the reviews and the price, I think is important.
I would say we are having a waterfall syndrome. I just created now. Waterfall syndrome means when at the beginning we have a little questions, a very small amount, and then when expert like Liran starts talking and answering, people are starting pouring questions. So we have now 6 questions from the audience. I have set up campaigns and they are delivering but no impressions. How can I fix this issue?
I think they're delivering but no impressions. That means you might not be bidding enough to get impressions. So check your bids. Also make sure that the keywords that you have are have search volume. If you're using exact match, try phrase also. If you're using a broad match in sponsored brands, I highly recommend you use a broad match modifier, which is a plus sign in front of the keyword, because Amazon tends to go very broad, much more broad on broad match in sponsored brands than in sponsored products. But basically, as far as impressions, make sure you have the search volume there and make sure you have bids. I would raise your bids and look at the keywords that you're targeting. And again, if you just have exact match types, I would add in a phrase match as well.
And before we move on to the next question, I wanted to mention that if you enjoy answers and if answers from Liran work for you in your advertising management, and just click like now or later, whenever you check if Liran's advices work, and click the subscribe button. And Liran, actually, could you give an overview? How do you help Amazon sellers? We will move on with more questions, but sure, just to get a little pitch from you.
Yeah, sure. So we help sellers by helping you manage your Amazon advertising, or we fully manage your Amazon advertising. We also do Amazon DSP, listing optimization, and we have in beta Google Ads into Amazon and influencer marketing. But our core focus, where we help the most sellers, is with Amazon, managing your Amazon advertising.
And your company is called Incrementum Digital, right?
Incrementum Digital, yeah. Incrementumdigital.com is the website, and you can go there and fill out a contact form if you would like to speak with us.
Yes, and you will find, I believe, the link below in the description as well. Yeah. So next question is from Jeff. How do you deal with Amazon telling you that an ASIN is ineligible for an advertising, but won't tell you why?
It's a good question. I mean, you can try to escalate that within sponsored support, but then I would try to look at maybe the keywords that you have within the title, that maybe there's a word in there that you shouldn't have. Things like weight loss, for example, is a common thing to not be eligible to run, or certain types of products. Sometimes you need to keep escalating and pushing with Amazon, or try to make some title update or change some of the words if you think any of the words there could be part of the reason, especially if your competitors are running. And then sometimes it could be related to your images. Also, you can have an image that isn't allowed as well. So you want to kind of play with those things to test and see if making a change there would solve that issue.
Actually, there is a second part to this question. The ASIN is not listed as an issue in the brand health.
Yeah, I don't know if you wanna DM me on Facebook with the ASIN or link. I could try to see if I have more insights for you.
Mas would like to know which type of ads do you recommend for launching the products?
Yeah, I mean, so definitely sponsored product ads. We use a lot of exact match, very targeted and top of search placements. I would also say sponsored brand video could be a very good ad type for launching and probably focus mostly there.
Good. Kim is asking what ACoS percentage is considered too high, and after how long to revise the campaign, increase the ad or pause the campaign?
Yeah, so I mean, as far as what ACoS is considered too high, it's tough to answer. It's really, I would say, very much based on your category. So if you're going to be in pet supplements, like some of the products I showed, the cost per click can be quite expensive. Or if you have any consumable product, cost per click is usually more because you're trying to get a customer to buy more than once, and there's kind of a greater lifetime value for the customer. I would say you really want to focus on your conversion rate. Do you have more than 6-7% conversion rate on your PPC keywords? You should have more, but at least at launch, you should try to have at least that much in terms of conversion rate. So I would say it's not uncommon to have 50 to 150% ACoS when you're launching a product. Really depends on how competitive it is and the kind of keywords that you're going after. Also, consider that it may not be the advertising that's an issue. It could be your price. It could be your listing quality, your photos, if you have A+ content or not. So consider adding a coupon, lowering your price, and kind of doing what it takes in order to get those conversions early. That's the most important thing you could do on launching a product is, generate conversions. So it may not be your advertising that's the issue. Oh, you're muted, Lizette.
Thanks a lot. So I wanted to say that Kim added that the product is human bone health vitamins and herbal teas. So yeah, thanks for answering.
Competitive, anything in vitamins or consumable products, it's going to be quite competitive. So, do you have amazing packaging and amazing listing, very a below market price if you're launching and have no reviews or low review count, like all these factors, and then go more targeted on the keywords that you're going after. If you're going after vitamins, or just herbal tea, maybe too broad. Maybe you need to go with the specific type of tea or a specific benefit of that type of tea and go more granular.
Okay, very good. So we have a few last ones. So Joe is asking, how often are you making changes to your keywords?
I mean, I would say we're making changes, more to bidding. But as far as keywords, we're constantly harvesting keywords. So we do our initial sort of keyword research, and then we are harvesting, from auto campaign, from broad match, from phrase match, keywords that are converting, and then we move those across the different ad types. So I'll take the keywords that are converting, from sponsor product auto, move them into sponsor product manual, but then I'll also move them into my sponsor brand video, my sponsor brand headline campaigns. So I'm constantly looking for keywords based on keyword harvesting, and then a lot of the other changes are either negative keywords or bid changes.
Okay, very good. So Sema is asking a very interesting question. Which ad is the most cost-effective ad, meaning it's independent from optimization?
I mean, I would say sponsored display ad, actually, which I didn't talk about here, can be the cheapest cost per click ad. I don't know that it's always the most effective, but from a cost per click standpoint, sponsor products and sponsor brands are very similar in terms of cost per click now. So you really need to see, for you, what are going to be the best conversions. I would say sponsored products are still 70% again, for most of our clients, 70% plus of their budget. So if there was one ad that you were going to start with, I would say it would be a sponsored product ad first.
Okay, I think this was the last question. And okay, so Kim Lian says, awesome, thank you very much, Liran. And actually he is asking about your services. So do you have a minimum ad spend or the minimum to work with you, Liran?
Yeah, so I mean, our minimum fee for ad management is $1,500 a month. So typically if you're not spending, let's say, closer to $10,000 a month in ad spend, it's not going to be as cost effective for you to work with us. We do in some cases take clients that have a smaller ad spend than that, but we also want to recognize that, again, it has to be cost effective for you. So typically closer to 10,000 a month in monthly ad spend is what we take on.
Perfect. And again, the link you will find below in the description. I think also we can display here to Liran's website, to his company. Thank you very much, Liran, and I hope we'll see you in the future.
Great. Okay. Thank you so much for having me on. Appreciate it, and I'll be watching all the speeches as well.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
And now I would like to invite you to watch other video where our guest Lazar Zepinich is explaining the difference between Amazon sponsored brand video and Amazon video ads, and explains how to benefit from both.